Our next speaker is also with Freedom Works. He was one of the initial masterminds behind the 9/12 Taxpayer March on Washington. Was anybody here at the 9/12 Taxpayer March on Washington? That's amazing. Every time I get up here, by the way, for the people in front who can't tell, more and more people keep filling in the back, so it's great. So this next guy is the director of our grassroots organizing at Freedom Works. He spends the most time talking to the activists, going out to the states, helping organize, doing everything that he can based on what he knows to help other people do more to fight and limit government. He's been in it since he was in college when he wrote a book as a college student called The Conservative Revolution, out to win the battle on college campuses. He hasn't given up. He's been studying the strategies of the left. You probably heard that Barack Obama's one of his strategic mentors was Saul Alinsky. He wrote a book. This book was Rules for Radicals. If you haven't read it, you should. They took a lot of the ideas that from our intellectual heritage, which is the Boston Tea Party, and turn it upside down and use it to grow government. Well, we're using it in the other direction to try to limit government. So there's some good lessons. Barack Obama used it to success. We're going to use it to even more success this year. And I don't know anybody who's a bigger expert on that sort of thing around here than our next speaker. Please join me in welcoming Brendan Steinhauser.
Hey. You remember me? John McLean. Robert Stacy.
How's everyone doing today?
How you doing? God bless you.
I'm sure MSNBC is reporting there are a couple dozen people here today. And I'm sure that if President Obama isn't watching MSNBC, he's probably peeking through the curtains right about now. Well, I just got a message for the President, though. We're back. You know, his mentor was Saul Alinsky, this community organizer from Chicago back in the 20s and 30s. And he wasn't a very nice guy. He was kind of a nasty guy, but he had a lot of good ideas about how to organize people. And, you know, we've been studying this at Freedom Works for quite some time. It was the first book that my boss, Matt, introduced to me. And he said, you got to read this book. We've got to learn their playbook, and then we're going to turn it against them. Well, it seems like a lot of you may have read that book as well. And a show of hands, how many people have read Rules for Radicals? Pretty good. A lot of good ideas in there, some bad ethics, some bad morals or lack of morals, but a very good strategy of how to organize a community, basically to go get your friends, your neighbors, your colleagues, everyone involved in a cause. And you know, we at Freedom Works have been trying to help the grassroots since 1984 as an organization. I started 5 years ago, and I can't tell you how incredible it is for me in the last year to see this genuine grassroots uprising that's happened from across the country. And we've watched this happen literally from a handful of people. I remember one of the first protesters down in Fort Myers, Florida. Her name was Mary Rakovich. And President Obama was headed down to Fort Myers to join with the Republican Governor Charlie Crist and sign and support the stimulus bill. What a difference a year makes. Mary and about a half dozen protesters go out, and of course the left, you know, ignore them completely. The media didn't even report it. But I would argue that Mary Rakovich in Fort Myers, Florida started a revolution. And here we are, 1 year later. President Obama at the time, a year ago, was a very popular president. Charlie Crist was a popular governor of Florida. Now, both their numbers are in the tank. And you may have heard about a guy by the name of Marco Rubio. Our message against the national debt, against the stimulus and the bailouts under Bush and under Obama, let me repeat that for the media. When they say, where were you when President Bush was bailing out Wall Street. We were yelling, we were screaming at our TVs. We may not have made it out to the streets yet because we weren't organized, but we were opposed to that, and we're opposed to it now. So I think as a movement, we deserve a little bit more respect for not being hypocrites and for organizing as soon as we could to take to the streets and oppose big government. And we've gone through all this. You know, the president himself made fun of us for waving tea bags around. You know, at first David Axelrod said, after September 12th, he said, was there a protest in Washington? I didn't catch that. We were in Minnesota. I actually know there was a group here of protesters that actually watched this cowardly president get in his helicopter, fly over the crowd, and make his way into Minnesota because he didn't want to be anywhere near us. He wanted to draw the media's attention to something else and distract them, and distract us. Well, I got news for President Obama. On September 12th of this year, we're coming back, and we're going to bring a whole lot of our friends. And I just want to say one quick thing about this movement. This is a movement that's independent. Actually 51% of the people who are identified as Tea Party supporters are independents and Democrats. About 49% Republicans. The caricatures that they make of us, they're not true. I want you all to stand firm, take a stand against the big government politicians and the liberal media, and keep fighting the good fight, and we will see you all here, right here, same location, September 12th, 2010. God bless you.